Well, the COVID-19 pandemic is a tough time for new businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs. The difficulty of finding capital can be particularly daunting for Black women who only make up half of 1% of the funding. This morning, we're talking about a new option for business owners. Joining us is Kimmy Palu with Beta Boom to discuss New Pattern Utah. Kimmy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Tell us what this program is about.
Thank you also for having me. That's right. This is a collaboration between Beta Boom Womanpreneurs, Utah Black Chamber, and Sorensen Impact Center. And the intention is to move more capital into these businesses, specifically female Black-owned businesses. So we want to provide both capital and then human resources to help them grow and scale their companies. COVID-19, as you mentioned, has created greater impacts. Already there was trouble accessing capital, but also now with COVID-19, we're seeing more of these businesses closing at a higher rate.
So the program is just getting started. How exactly will it work?
Yeah, so we just got our funding. Our applications are currently open. Our intention is to identify the companies that will receive this funding. And then over the course of 6 months post-granting the money, we will also work with them through a series of programs and human capital resources that our partners are providing.
Sounds good. What kind of businesses should apply for this funding?
We've kept this fairly open, so all kinds of businesses are open as long as they're female Black-owned businesses. And we have a preference for those that have been 6 months in operations, just so that we can make sure that we're catalyzing those that may have been impacted in the COVID-19 era. And we are also open to nonprofits.
That's awesome. I want to know about your personal story. How did you get involved with Beta Boom?
Yeah, so I had built my career in Silicon Valley and had been there for over a decade. And I saw the disparities that we're talking about in terms of where capital goes and which companies get funding. And I wanted to be a part of changing that narrative and actually catalyzing more companies and more innovations that were more diverse. So I came to Salt Lake City to start our fund and to really change some of the dynamics. I think at the earliest stages, if we can move capital earlier to some of these companies that are falling through the cracks and truly nurture our pipeline, our ecosystem could look a lot more diverse. It could have a lot more innovations and economic impact.
So it sounds like there's an underrepresentation of Black women in tech, and this program, this funding, this grant is really going to kind of help elevate that.
That's absolutely the intention. I think capital is not enough. We know that there are access gaps there, but there are also access gaps in terms of access to talent, to networks, to social capital. So the intention is that this coalition can fill both of those gaps, both on the capital side and then also in terms of closing gaps to ways to scale their business.
All right, well, Kimmy, tell us, how can people find more information if they're interested in learning more or applying for funding?
Certainly. So the coalition is called New Pattern, and the URL is newpattern.org. And specifically to apply, it's newpattern.org/apply.
Kimmy, thank you so much for joining us early this morning. We appreciate this information.
Likewise, thanks for having me. Have a good day.